Hi, I'm Nora. I never thought I'd be the main character in a revenge story, but life has a way of surprising you. 3 years ago, my dad married Vanessa, a woman with a smile that never quite reached her eyes. I tried to make it work. Really, I did. Nora, honey, could you set the table? Dad called from the kitchen one evening. Sure thing, I replied, grabbing plates from the cabinet. Dad wiped his hands on a dish towel. I appreciate how well you and Vanessa have been getting along lately. I forced a smile. We're adjusting. Vanessa entered, her heels clicking against the hardwood. Richard, did you remember to call about the insurance papers? Her voice was syrupy sweet when she spoke to him. Not yet, but I will tomorrow, Dad promised. Vanessa's smile tightened. It's been 3 days, Richard. I know, I've just been swamped at work. It's fine. I can handle it myself, like everything else. She patted his arm, then turned to me with a completely different tone. Nora, those plates go on the placemats, not directly on the table. Right, sorry, I mumbled. My best friend Maya noticed the tension first. We were sprawled across my bedroom floor doing homework when she brought it up. Is everything okay with your stepmom? She barely acknowledged me when I came in. I shrugged. That's just Vanessa. Why? I don't know. The way she looks at you when you're not watching, it's weird. Weird how? Maya tapped her pencil against her textbook. Like she's calculating something. My mom's a psychologist, remember? I pick up on these things. You're being dramatic, I laughed, but something about her words stuck with me. That night, I went downstairs for water and heard Vanessa on the phone in the study. I wouldn't have stopped, except I heard my name. Nora's college fund would cover it perfectly. Richard doesn't need to know right away. Once the money's moved, we can say the market crashed. She's just his daughter from his first marriage, not our future. My hand froze on the glass. The water overflowed, splashing onto the counter. I have to go. I'll call you tomorrow, Diane, Vanessa said, her voice suddenly hushed. I scrambled back upstairs, heart pounding. My college fund, the one Mom had started before she died. The one Dad had been adding to religiously for 10 years. Vanessa was planning to steal it. The next morning at school, I cornered Maya by her locker. You were right about Vanessa. I heard her last night talking about stealing my college fund. Maya's eyes widened. Are you serious? Did you tell your dad? No, not yet. She'll just deny it, and then what? You need evidence, Maya insisted, slamming her locker shut. Concrete proof. How am I supposed to get that? I don't know, but you can't just let her take your future, Nora. I'm not going to, I replied, a plan already forming. I'm going to let her think she's winning, and then I'm going to make sure she loses everything. What does that mean? Maya looked concerned. It means, I said, shouldering my backpack, that sometimes you have to let people dig their own graves. Maya and I spent lunch period brainstorming in the school library. Her cousin Jackson, a second-year law student, joined us via video call. So let me get this straight, Jackson said, adjusting his glasses. Your stepmom is planning to steal your college fund, and instead of telling your dad, you want to catch her in the act? Exactly, I nodded. If I tell Dad now, she'll deny everything. She might even accelerate her plans, Maya added. Jackson sighed. This is serious, Nora. We're talking fraud, possibly grand theft, depending on the amount. It's over $80,000, I said quietly. Definitely grand theft, Jackson confirmed. You'll need to document everything. Recordings, screenshots, bank statements, anything showing her intent and actions. Is recording her even legal? Maya asked. Depends on the state, Jackson replied. But documenting your own financial records is always legal. Start there. After school, I visited Dad's financial advisor, Mr. Patterson. Nora, what brings you in today? He asked, genuinely surprised to see me. Hi, Mr. Patterson. I'm doing a project on financial planning, and Dad suggested I could use my college fund as an example. Could you show me how it's set up? He hesitated. Well, normally I'd need your father's permission, but since you're just asking about the structure. 20 minutes later, I had photos of every document on my phone. including the requirement for 2 signatures, Dad's and mine, for any withdrawals over $1,000. That evening, Dad's colleague Carl came over for dinner. He'd always been like an uncle to me. "So, Nora," Carl said between bites. "Senior year coming up. Any colleges on your radar?" Before I could answer, Vanessa jumped in. "We're thinking practical options. College is so expensive these days." "But Nora's fund is substantial," Carl replied, confused. "Richard's been bragging about it for years." Vanessa's smile tightened. "Markets change. We're being cautious." Later, I cornered Carl in the hallway. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course, kiddo." "Has Vanessa mentioned anything to you about financial troubles?" Carl's expression changed. "Why do you ask?" "Just overhearing things. I'm worried about Dad." He lowered his voice. "Between us, she approached me last week about investing in some property with her brother. Wanted me to convince your dad it was a good idea. Something felt off." "What kind of property?" "Timeshares in Florida. Classic scam setup." He squeezed my shoulder. "Keep an eye out, Nora. Your dad sometimes doesn't see what's right in front of him." The next day, I confronted Diane, Vanessa's best friend, at the coffee shop where she worked. "Hey, Diane," I said, approaching the counter. "Fancy seeing you here?" She looked startled. "Nora, what can I get you?" "Information, actually, about what you and Vanessa discussed on the phone the other night." Her face paled. "I don't know what you're talking about." "My college fund? The market crash you're planning? Ring any bells?" "Look," she hissed, leaning forward. "Vanessa's just trying to secure her future. Your dad isn't exactly generous with her." "By stealing from me?" I challenged. "You don't understand adult problems," Diane snapped. "Your dad barely had 2 nickels to rub together before your mom's life insurance payout. That money should be supporting his new family, too." I felt my blood boil. "That money is in a protected college fund that my mother started for me before she died. It's not a piggy bank for Vanessa's shopping addiction." "You ungrateful little—" "Problems, Diane?" Maya's older brother Ethan appeared beside me. As the manager, his timing couldn't have been better. "No," Diane muttered. "Just a difficult customer." Ethan looked between us. "Take 5, Diane. I'll handle this." Once she stormed off, Ethan turned to me. Maya filled me in. "You okay?" I nodded. "I think I just got the confirmation I needed." Armed with evidence, I decided to confront Vanessa directly. I waited until Dad left for his weekend golf game, then found her in the home office, hunched over the computer. "Working hard?" I asked, leaning against the doorframe. She jumped, quickly minimizing whatever was on the screen. "Nora, you startled me. Sorry about that. What are you working on? Something to do with my college fund, perhaps?" Her face went completely still. "Excuse me?" "I heard you, Vanessa, on the phone with Diane. I know what you're planning." She laughed, but it sounded hollow. "I have no idea what you're talking about." "The money transfer? The fake market crash story? Using my college fund to invest in your brother's scam timeshares?" Her eyes narrowed. "You were eavesdropping on a private conversation? You were plotting to steal my future in my own house?" "That's not—" She stood up, hands flat on the desk. "Look, Nora, you've clearly misunderstood. I was simply exploring investment options to grow your college fund." "Through timeshares? Mr. Patterson said that's the last thing anyone should invest in." "Mr. Patterson?" Her voice rose. "You went to your father's financial advisor behind my back?" "It's my college fund. I have every right to know about it." Vanessa's demeanor suddenly changed. "Honey, I'm sorry if you misinterpreted things. I only want what's best for this family." "No, you want what's best for yourself." "That's unfair." She stepped around the desk. "Your father and I are a team now. All our decisions are made together. Does Dad know about this decision?" Her silence was answer enough. "That's what I thought," I said. "You're young. You don't understand how marriages work. The compromises—" "Save it," I interrupted. "I'm not interested in your justifications." Her face hardened. Fine. What exactly do you want, Nora? Money for your silence? Is that it? I want you to stop. And if I don't, you'll run to Daddy with your little recording? She gestured to my phone. Who do you think he'll believe? His loving wife or his increasingly difficult teenager? Why don't we find out? I suggested. She stepped closer, voice dropping to a whisper. Listen carefully. If you breathe a word of this to your father, I'll make sure he knows about every little rule you've broken. The party at Maya's when her parents were away. The fake ID I found in your drawer. How you're failing calculus. I faltered. How did you... I know everything that happens in this house. She smiled coldly. So here's what's going to happen. You'll keep your mouth shut, and I'll make sure some of the money still goes toward your community college fund. Everyone wins. You're threatening me now? I'm being realistic. This is what happens when you play adult games, Nora. Sometimes you lose. Before I could respond, the front door opened. Hello? I'm back early, Dad called. Vanessa's expression instantly transformed into the perfect stepmother. We're in the office, honey. Dad appeared in the doorway. What are you two up to? Just having a heart-to-heart, Vanessa said sweetly. Actually, I said, meeting her threatening gaze. Vanessa was just explaining how she's planning to take my college fund and invest it in her brother's business. What? Dad looked between us, confused. Vanessa laughed nervously. Richard? She's completely misunderstood. Play the recording, Nora, Maya said, stepping into view behind my dad. Maya, what's going on here? Dad asked. I hit play on my phone, and Vanessa's earlier words filled the room. Who do you think he'll believe? His loving wife or his increasingly difficult teenager? Vanessa lunged for my phone. You little snake! In her rage, she shoved me hard against the bookshelf. A sharp pain shot through my shoulder as books tumbled around us. Vanessa! Dad shouted, rushing forward to pull her away. She's lying! Vanessa screamed, struggling against him. She set me up! Maya was already calling 911. My friend's being attacked by her stepmother, she reported calmly. 2 police officers took statements in our living room while a paramedic checked my shoulder. Officer Rodriguez, a woman with kind eyes but a no-nonsense demeanor, sat across from me. Let me understand this correctly, she said, reviewing her notes. Your stepmother was attempting to misappropriate funds from your college account, and when confronted, she became violent? Yes, I confirmed. I have recordings of her admission, plus documentation from meetings with our financial advisor showing the account requires both my dad's signature and mine for large withdrawals. Dad sat beside me, still looking shell-shocked. I can't believe this. We've been married for 3 years. Officer Rodriguez turned to him. Sir, were you aware of any attempts to access these funds? No, he said, running a hand through his hair. Vanessa mentioned investing in her brother's business venture, but I told her we didn't have the capital. She never mentioned Nora's college fund. In the kitchen, Officer Bennett was questioning Vanessa separately. Her indignant voice carried into the living room. This is a family misunderstanding. That ungrateful child has been trying to sabotage my marriage from day one. 2 weeks later, we sat in the district attorney's office. Miss Chen, the prosecutor handling our case, organized her files meticulously. The evidence is substantial, she explained. Attempted financial fraud, plus the assault witnessed by multiple parties. We're offering a plea deal with restitution, community service, and probation. What about jail time? Maya asked from beside me. First-time offender with no priors, Miss Chen replied. But this will be a felony record, and she'll be required to stay away from Nora permanently. I just want this over with, Dad said quietly. Later that evening, Maya and her parents invited us over for dinner. While the adults talked in hushed voices on the deck, Maya and I sat by the pool. How's your dad doing? She asked. Processing, I replied. The divorce papers were served yesterday. And you? How are you holding up? I dipped my toes in the water. Better than expected. It's weird, but I feel lighter. Vanessa called my mom, Maya said suddenly. I whipped my head around. What? When? This morning. She wanted Mom to convince you to drop the charges, said she was sorry and that she'd made a terrible mistake. What did your mom say? That actions have consequences, and some mistakes can't be fixed with an apology. The next day, as we were leaving the courthouse after the plea hearing, Vanessa approached us in the parking lot. Her normally perfect appearance was disheveled, her designer clothes replaced with something simpler. "Nora, please," she called out. "Can we talk for just a minute?" Dad stepped between us. "The restraining order is already in effect, Vanessa." I know, she said, keeping her distance. I wanted to say I'm sorry. I never meant for things to go this far." "But you meant to steal my college fund," I replied evenly. "I was desperate. My brother's business was failing and Stop," I interrupted. "I'm not interested in your excuses. Please, Nora, everyone deserves a second chance." I looked at her directly. "You threatened me in my own home. You tried to steal the money my mother left for my education. You hurt me physically when you were caught. Which part of that deserves forgiveness?" "I've lost everything," she said, tears streaming down her face. "My marriage, my home, my reputation." "You lost those things when you decided to betray your family," Dad said firmly. "Let's go, Nora." As we walked away, Vanessa called after us. "You'll regret this, both of you." Officer Rodriguez, who'd been watching nearby, immediately approached her. "That sounds like a threat, ma'am. Would you like to rethink your statement?" 3 months later, Maya and I sat in Mr. Patterson's office, reviewing my college applications. "Your fund is completely secure," he assured us. "We've implemented additional security measures, and with the market recovery, you're actually ahead of projections." "That's great news," I smiled. "Have you heard anything about Vanessa?" Maya asked as we left. "Dad got an email from her sister last week. She's moved to Arizona, working at her brother's failing timeshare company." I couldn't help but laugh at the irony. "Karma," Maya nodded approvingly. That evening, Dad and I made dinner together, something we'd started doing regularly since Vanessa left. "I got a call from Colombia today," he mentioned casually, chopping vegetables. I froze. "And?" "And they're very interested in your application. Apparently, your essay on overcoming adversity was quite compelling." I grinned. "I had good material to work with?" "Nora," Dad said, setting down his knife. "I'm sorry I didn't see what was happening. I should have protected you better." "Hey," I touched his arm. "We both got fooled. But we're okay now, right?" "Better than okay," he agreed. "And you know what? Your mom would be incredibly proud of how you handled everything." "I think she would," I said, feeling a sense of peace I hadn't experienced in years. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about making sure the people who try to hurt you face the consequences of their actions while you move forward and thrive. What would you have done in my situation?